lemma 233 is the corresponding result in the system of natural numbers. Okay, so assume two integers a comma b such that ab is equal to 0. The assertion means the assertion in this proposition that either a is 0 or b is 0 or both are 0. That assertion follows from lemma 233 if both a comma b are natural numbers, because you see, being integers, there is that case where both a and b can also be natural numbers, keeping in mind that identification. So if that happens, then directly from lemma 233 we can conclude that either a is 0 or b is 0 or both are 0. Next, assume both a and b are negative integers. Then we start from what is given to us. 0 is ab. Now in place of a, I can write minus of a, and in place of b, I can write minus of b. Am I justified in writing that? You see, a is an integer, so it will be some alpha dash beta, right? So if I take a negation, I will have beta dash alpha. If I take again another negation, I will have alpha dash beta back. So yes, that is true actually. According to our definitions of integers and that of negation, this is true. I can write it like this. Now you can use one of the previous exercises, specifically the third one, to write this thing as minus 1 times minus a, and this one as minus 1 times minus b. Now using all the laws of algebra, namely actually specifically the laws which say that multiplication of integers is commutative and associative, we can write this product of 4 integers in this way. We can rearrange the factors in any way we want. Minus a times minus b. Then apply exercise 3 once more here. That gives us minus of 1, minus b. So this becomes 1 times minus a minus b, and this, according to one of the identities proved in proposition 416, is minus a minus b. So now we see that minus a and minus b, if we take their product, that is also 0. And since a and b are negative, so minus a and minus b are natural numbers, in fact positive natural numbers. Since minus a comma minus b are we are saying, in fact we need not say positive because that will create confusion only. Minus a and minus b are natural numbers after all. Okay, by the way, why is it happening? If a is negative, how am I able to say that minus a is a natural number? Have you thought about that? If a is negative, then a is equal to when do we say a is negative? We say a is negative if a is, by definition, the negative of a natural number. So if we take minus a, then we are getting minus of n. Okay, and according to what we have already seen here, this becomes n. Okay, yes, so that's why it's a natural number. Yes, so no problem. So lemma 233 implies minus a is 0 or minus b is 0. Thus, equivalently, ab is equal to 0 implies if minus a is 0, then a is also 0, or b is 0. Okay, so ultimately we are getting either a is 0 or b is 0, or of course both are 0. Next, assume that a is a natural number and b is negative. Then 0 equal to ab implies 0 also equal to minus ab. If ab is 0, then minus ab is also 0, according to the definition of negation and a natural, an integer being 0. Okay, so this again using that exercise 3, I can write it like this. Okay, as this product. Then using commutativity and associativity of multiplication of integers, I can write this as this. Now this becomes equal to a times minus b. So a times minus b now is again 0. A was already a natural number. Since b is negative, minus b is a natural number. Since both a comma minus b are natural numbers, again lemma 233 implies a is equal to 0 or minus b is equal to 0. That is, a is equal to 0 or b is equal to 0. It seems that we have only one more case left where a is negative and b is a natural number. But since multiplication is commutative, multiplication of integers is commutative, so this case itself handles that case. In fact, we can write since multiplication of integers is note one thing, that although I am using commutative, associative, these things, but in the text the properties have not been said so. I mean, at least not in this chapter on integers. Previously for the natural numbers we named them according to how they should be named. This is the commutative law, associative law, distributive law. The fact that I am using all these terms is based on the supposition that you understand all what these things mean. Okay, so if you are not comfortable with what commutativity means, you go back to the chapter on natural numbers, there you will get all the definitions. Okay, since multiplication of integers is commutative, the case where a is a natural number and b is negative is taken care of by the previous case, that is this one. So this completes the proof. Proposition, what was it? 418. Okay. Then exercise 416. Oh, here we have to prove that cancellation law. Proof corollary 419. And some hint is given. There are two ways to do this. What two ways? One is to use proposition 418. To conclude that a minus b is 0. Another way is to combine corollary corollary 237 with lemma 415. We are going to use the one which uses proposition 418. We are actually going to use the simplest one. So in this corollary, what is given to us? We are given that a, b and c are three integers where c is non-zero and ab is equal to ac. We have to prove that a is equal to b. Note that AB is equal to AC. No, that is not given. AC is equal to BC. Note that A minus B times C is equal to A plus minus B times C. So we can apply the right distributive law. So this is AC plus minus B times C. So this is equal to AC plus, in place of minus B we can write minus 1 times B times C by exercise 3. So AC. Now because of associative law, actually this minus 1 and B, they are together, but because multiplication of integers is associative, so I can consider B and C together. And again, by applying exercise 3, we get minus BC, which by the definition of subtraction, this. So this is equal to 0 because it is given that AC is equal to BC. So we now have the fact that a product of two integers is 0. So according to proposition 418, one of them should be 0. But it is given that C is non-zero. Since C is non-zero, proposition 418 implies A minus B should be equal to 0 or A is equal to B. So that completes the proof of corollary 419. So we now have a cancellation law also. Finally, exercise. So this one was 6, no? Yeah, now 7. 417. So here we have to prove lemma 4111, which has the properties of order. Prove lemma 4111. Hint: use the first part of this lemma to prove the others. Okay, so we have to recall what the statements were. I forgot. The first one I think is we use that same numbering of the subdivisions or parts we have. Here we have to prove A is greater than B. So A, B and C are three given integers. A is greater than B if and only if A minus B is a positive natural number. That's what we have to prove in this one. Okay. First, assume A is greater than B. Okay. So then we can apply the definition of order directly. Then A is equal to B plus N for some natural number N, and simultaneously note that this is strict inequality. So by definition, only this one means A is greater than or equal to B. Additionally, here we should have A not equal to B. If N is equal to 0, then A is equal to B plus N, which is B plus 0, which by the law of algebra this is equal to B, a contradiction. So N is a positive natural number. Now, what about A minus B? A minus B is actually A plus minus B. Now, according to our expression for A, this is B plus N plus minus B. Don't take anything for granted because we are proving these properties for the first time. Okay, so from this equation you don't directly write A minus B equal to N. You have to show why it is N. Okay, so this is equal to, now we can write in place of B plus N, we can write N plus B, because addition of integers is commutative. Addition of integers is also associative, so we can write this one. Then this is 0. Again, by using one such identity, this is equal to N. So we have proved that if A is greater than B, then A minus B is N, where N is a positive natural number. So one half of this is over. Conversely, assume that A minus B is a positive natural number. Okay. Then, since, okay, before we write then, writing then means using this condition, right? But before that, since A is equal to now A can be written as A plus or let me write it as this is equal to 0 plus A by one of our identities in the laws of algebra, and in place of 0 we can write B plus minus B, then use associativity of addition minus B plus A, then use commutativity of addition A plus minus B, and finally a plus minus b is nothing but a minus b. So note that we have been able to write the integer a as the integer b plus a minus b, where a minus b is a natural number. It is also positive, but we will use that later. It is a natural number, so by definition, since this happens, we have a greater than or equal to b. Okay. If a is equal to b, then a minus b is 0, and that we are getting from here. Then a equal to b plus a minus b implies a minus b is equal to 0, a contradiction. And this is a contradiction because a minus b is not 0. By definition, since it is a positive natural number, it is not 0. So here we are using positivity. So we must have a not equal to b. So now we have these two things, a greater than or equal to b and a not equal to b. Hence, a should be strictly greater than b. So this proves the first subdivision. All of them will not be this long. Note that the hint says that we can use this first part to prove the others. Let us see how. Then we have to prove that addition preserves order. So here we have a greater than b. This one, however, is just an implication. It's not if and only if. We have to prove a plus c is greater than b plus c. So by part A, a minus b is a positive natural number, but a minus b is equal to avoid confusion, let's just write it as a plus minus b, but at the same time we also write a 0 here, and in place of this 0 we will write c plus minus c, and this is equal to, we can use the fact that addition is associative and commutative to write the whole thing like this: a plus c plus minus b plus minus c. Okay, so this thing becomes a plus c plus, we are using exercise 3 again. And then we use distributive law, left distributive law. A plus c plus minus 1 times b plus c. This can then be written as a plus c minus b plus c. Here, in place of minus 1 times b plus c, we have written minus b plus c. In fact, to be more specific and so that there is no room for confusion, this is actually minus of b plus c. In writing this, we are again using exercise 3. And now we can write this as a plus c minus b plus c. So this thing has turned out to be nothing but a minus b, which is a positive natural number. So this is a positive natural number. So we can again use part A, because if in part A we have if and only if. So by part A plus c is greater than b plus c. So that's how we have this part B. Then part C, here positive multiplication preserves order. Assume A is greater than B and C is greater than 0. Okay. Positive multiplication preserves order, right? Okay. By part A minus B is positive. So we now have two positive integers, but positive integers are also positive natural numbers. So we can write two positive natural numbers A minus B and C. Now a result that we proved previously in the chapter on natural numbers is that if you multiply two positive natural numbers, that is also a positive natural number. In fact, that follows from what was that, lemma 233. What does lemma 233 say? It says that if n and m are two integers and their product is 0, then either n is equal to 0, two natural numbers whose product is 0, then either n is equal to 0 or m is equal to 0. What is the contrapositive of this statement? If negation of this implies negation of this, that is, if n is not equal to 0 and m is not equal to 0, this implies nm is not equal to 0. Now in the universe of natural numbers, being non-zero means being positive. That means if n is greater than 0 and m is greater than 0, then nm is greater than 0. That's what we are now going to use here, because they are positive natural numbers. So we can refer to that lemma itself. I hope I am getting the number right. By lemma 233, a minus b times c is greater than 0. But a minus b times c is equal to, we have already seen this calculation once, okay, we are not going to do it in detail, ac minus bc, and so ac minus bc is greater than 0 or ac is greater than bc. This one just says that AC minus BC is a positive natural number, and so AC is greater than BC. And that's how we have part C. Then part D, negation reverses order. Assume A is greater than B. Okay. Then by part A. A minus B is a positive natural number. Now, A minus B is a positive natural number. Now, A minus B is equal to minus of A minus B. Yes, that can be written. Okay, so this is minus of minus 1 times A plus minus B. And this becomes, by the distributive law that we have proved, minus 1 times A plus minus 1 times minus B. So by exercise 3 again, this becomes minus A plus minus of minus B, and that is equal to minus of minus A plus B. And then again you apply that same thing, I mean whatever we have done with this one, in place of minus of something minus something, we have this. So just like that, we will